This is my wife's 2015 Jeep Cherokee Limited 4x4 all-wheel drive with a 3.2 liter V6 and 72,000 miles. Today I'm going to review this car for my channel. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope we get to do a lot more of these in the future. I figured I'd start with a tour of the outside of the car. Nice large Jeep logo up on the front of the hood. The typical Jeep 7-slat grille. And a really unique look for this car when it came out in 2014. I think this is one of the first cars to do this, where these are the actual headlights lower down in the bumper. What you see up here are just the daytime running lights and the turn signals. I'll show you those later on. There's some fog lights lower down and a lower grille as well to aid with cooling. This limited trim is what you'd call the mid-model. They had a Overland, which was higher up than this, had body color trimming all along the sides, and then there's the Latitude, which was more of the base trim. There may have actually even been a sport trim, I think, as well. That was even more base and had steel wheels. But the Limited runs on these 18-inch wheels, these polished aluminum wheels with Continental tires, that I believe are 235/60 18s, if I remember correctly, or 225/60 18s. Can't recall off the top of my head. There's this Cherokee lettering on the lower part of the driver's door. Folding mirrors that also have turn signals integrated into them right here. This one has privacy glass in the rear, as you can see. This is technically a compact SUV, but seems pretty large for its class. I think larger than Ford Escape, at least the Ford Escape of this era. The rear end is pretty typical modern SUV. Full LED taillights and brake lights and signals, but it has regular halogen bulbs for reverse lights. Cost savings, I'm sure. 4x4 badge down here. Rear view camera mounted in the center of the tailgate under the Jeep logo. Limited for the trim. This one's equipped with a tow package as well, integrated right into the frame. Has a 4-pin and 7-pin connector over here, 2-inch receiver hitch, class 3, rated to tow 4,500 pounds with the V6 and all-wheel drive. More than we'll need for anything we're going to tow anytime soon. The way to distinguish a V6 from a 4-cylinder is whether or not they have dual exhaust. V6s have 2 exhausts like this does, here and here. They are tips that are actually mounted to the bumpers, so not technically real exhaust. The pipes just kind of end inside of them, but no big deal. Big muffler up underneath here. 4-cylinders have a single exhaust just on the left side. Roof mounted antenna for all your radio for that matter. It does the satellite radio, does your AM, FM, all of that's controlled through that. Kind of a European styled look. This is actually based on a Fiat car platform shared with, I believe, the Dodge Dart, and Chrysler 200 would have been similar. But yeah, it's an all-wheel drive Dodge Dart or Chrysler 200 with a larger body on it. This actually weighs over 4,100 pounds for being a compact SUV. It's really heavy. It's all steel construction, no aluminum panels on this one. At least none that I'm aware of. Has a nice set of roof rails on it as well for cargo carrying capacity. Pretty good, pretty large fender wells for wheel and tire clearance. I mean, I imagine it has some mild off-road capability. We don't do more than take it down dirt roads because that just happens to be where we live. So I actually shined it up real nice to be able to take this video. This is about as nice as it ever gets to look. I wanted to briefly talk about the interior space, front and rear. So here's video of me getting into the car. I'm 5'10", but I have longer legs and a shorter torso. So I kind of fit legs-wise like a 6'1", 6'2" person and sit similar to a 5'3", 5'4" person. I'm built kind of weird. So there's plenty of space front to back for me with the door open or closed. I have plenty of space side to side where my knees don't have to touch either the center console or the dashboard or the door in any way, shape, or form. For being a compact SUV, that's pretty admirable. I've been in plenty of other cars where I'm touching both sides and it's not exactly comfortable on long trips. These seats are full leather in the Limited trim. They have a bit of cloth along the sides, I suppose, but the full seating surface is all leather. Leatherette probably. They're very comfortable. They are heated. I believe on the top trim you can get them cooled as well, but don't quote me on that. The heated seats get really hot. Limited trims also have heated steering wheel. Gets really hot, probably to accommodate for people who are wearing gloves. So this has a cold weather package on it, including both those options. This next section I want to cover point of view of getting into the front seat and the back seat, showing you around the other interior spaces of the car, including inside of the hatch and under the hood as well. And I'll show you the lighting of the car. So here we go. This car has keyless entry. You touch the inside of the door handle, it unlocks, or you can lock it by pushing the button on the outside and the horn will sound. It also has this nice feature of lights under the mirror to aid in you not running into things when you're walking up to the car. I also like to cover the sound of the doors in my videos. Nice solid sound, no squeaks or rattles. The door itself, I mean, is pretty self-explanatory. Controls on here for your mirrors, windows, window lock, door locks. The handle is a aluminum painted plastic, as far as I can tell. Yep, sounds like plastic. It's a foam soft touch up top here. It's a leatherette surface down here for your armrest. Pretty durable materials. Also a rubberized material here. Hard plastic on the bottom half of the door. Door storage for water bottle and other things. So here's your point of view of getting into the car. It's a pretty nice space for a compact SUV and for being 5 years old even at this point. The steering wheel itself is pretty well set up. Nice Jeep logo in the center, large. Down here, it's kind of hard to make out, but it says since 1941, which would be the Jeep brand. You have your phone controls over here, voice recognition as well for your Siri or whatever else you choose. These are for navigating the gauge cluster screen, and these are your cruise control buttons. Headlight controls down here. You can have them on full auto, or you have your off parking lights and headlights on, your dimmer switches for the interior and gauge lights, and your fog light button right here in the center. So start button is down and to the right here. Key is just in my pocket. Accessory on at this point. The gauges are fully LED lit. The center screen is nice and bright and high resolution, well detailed. Speedometer, tachometer, coolant temperature, and fuel level are here. Outside temperatures displayed here, and direction you're traveling displayed here, and range up top, but these are all configurable for different things in the menus. It's telling me the door is open because, well, obviously. So step on the brake, press the button, And here we go. I missed it in the shot, but the gauges do a full sweep and then come back to their appropriate levels. And then it goes back to whatever gauge you had it on last, which in this case was the speedometer. The infotainment system in this car is called Uconnect, and then they call it a number based on the size of the screen. In this case is Uconnect 8.4, so it's an 8.4 inch screen across. It's a pretty decent touchscreen. Reacts pretty quickly, brings up the menus appropriately quick. Like I said, heated seats and heated wheel in this car. Automatic mirror dimmer as well. Typical standard rear view mirror. Passenger heated seat as well. There are various apps to be used and configured throughout your climate control menu. You can either control your climate controls through this touchscreen entirely. These are slider buttons for the temperature, or you can push up or down. So like I say, I can slide it, or I can press the buttons, or I can press the button down here to do the same thing. Pick your direction of air. I just leave it on auto most of the time. It does a good job of mediating the temperature to whatever my needs are, and yeah, that's that. Many different settings to cover. This screen also displays outside temperature and direction of travel and time, and if you have a Bluetooth device hooked up, it shows there. And obviously there's a phone menu as well when you have something connected. I don't for the sake of filming the video. So yeah, the hard buttons down here cover climate controls all across here. Defrosters, temperature for dual zone in the front, auto or off. Fan speed is controlled with this dial. Recirculating air, AC. And then this will give you the option to just turn off the screen. It says all you have to do is touch it to turn it back on. Simple as that. Your auto stop start you can turn off. Traction control you can turn off. And then you have a hard back button if you so choose to use it. Hard volume control, hard tuning, and then those each have their own buttons as well. Little stowage compartment up here. You keep sunglasses in there. There's also a sunglass hutch up here. Still uses regular incandescent light bulbs for your overhead lights. You'd figure by 2015 they would have been switching to LEDs, but you know, it is what it is. Passenger seat area is pretty plain Jane otherwise. Nothing of note over there. Same door storage and over there. Now we'll move on to the hatch. Actually, no, we'll move under the hood first. Just a little pull lever just right of center there. So this is Chrysler's 3.2 liter version of the Pentastar V6. In this car, it's 271 horsepower. I can't recall the torque off the top of my head, but it should be in the same realm of 260, 270 foot-pounds of torque. Everything's pretty easy to reach that you need to service here. Coolant, brake fluid, washer fluid, and then oil fill and dip sticker up here. Fuse box all over here. And really the rest of the space is used up for body styling. As far as the lighting is concerned, like I mentioned earlier, daytime running lights and signals are here. Main headlights, low beams, high beams are here. Fog lights down below. It's an interesting look. Took me a while to get over it myself, but it's grown on me over time. Move around to the rear lighting and show you the rear compartment, and then the back seats. Gas doors over here. It is power released on the driver's door. Should probably note that. Button right here pops the gas door. It locks with the car. So rear lighting is full LED for the running lights, the brake lights, and the signals, like I said. And again, incandescent light bulbs for the license plate. We have a few things back here, so don't mind that. But space behind the rear seats is actually pretty plentiful for a compact SUV. However, it's not a square vehicle, so you lose some of that space with the angle created here. I mean, I'm looking at this level and you can see it's a pretty far forward slant. But there is some space up here as well, you know, if you're comfortable putting something near your rear window. Yeah, I mean, the seats do fold flat. I'm not going to be able to do that because my kid's seat is in the car, but that's okay. Then there's a spare under the floor, full-size spare, which is nice because this is an all-wheel drive and it would freak out if it wasn't a full-size spare. Some of these cars came with, oh, you can't see it at all. Some of these cars came with a cargo cover that would slot in right here, but this one did not have it. That's really all there is of note in the back. So this seat, the front seat, is in the position where I would sit, and I could easily sit behind here. I'll show you for the sake of the video. Side-to-side room is a bit tight because of the seat being in here. But yeah, I mean, my knees are barely touching the seat. The seat actually cuts in pretty nicely here for your knees to fit into. There is seat back storage down here. On the rear door, there's storage in the bottom, a little pocket where you're supposed to grab to close it, the door handle, and then just a window control, and that's it. These windows in the back, well, I got them locked right now, but they don't go down all the way. They go down to about here. It does have a sloping roof line in here. Now I'm sitting in the back seat, and like I say, I have a shorter torso, but this is a non-sunroof car. And I've got probably 3.5 inches above my head. That sounds about right. There's an armrest in the middle here with cup holders in it. There are also, well, not very well seen, but there are climate vents down in the middle there, fed off of the driver's controls. Rear door sounds just as solid as the front. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the tour of the car. So I will leave you guys at this point and cover a couple of driving bits, give you an idea of what it sounds like, what it's like while driving at speed, and try and get a little flyby video in for the end. Now you get a sound of the exhaust. I forgot to mention earlier in the video when I was covering the powertrain that this uses a 9-speed automatic with a viscous coupling all-wheel drive system. The automatic is made by ZF from Germany. Some of these cars are known to have some issues with them, more primarily in the 4 cylinders than the 6 cylinders. But you know, they're all prone to it because they're all based on the same transmission design. If I'm honest, we've been very fortunate. We've owned ours for almost 13,000 miles and we've had 0 issues with it. Now I wanted to give a little demonstration of the rear view camera and parking this backwards into a spot. Now there's no rear park assist on this, so no beepers to tell you that you're about to hit something, but you've got the visual lines that give you green, yellow, and red for your range, a nice center line, and the lines actually turn as you steer, which is nice. But pretty easy to line up, pretty easy to gauge distance. I mean, if you're in the red down here, you're mere inches away. The maneuverability of the car is quite good. Has a nice tight turning radius for easy parking and mall crawling. Give you a demonstration of the auto stop start, so I'll be quiet for that part. Engine is off, light comes on. Say a light turns green, you lift off the brake. Nice seamless restart, and off you go. It's a very easy, quiet, comfortable car to drive. The engine has ample power for its size and weight. We'll get a demonstration of that in here in a little bit. But right now, I need to get out of the parking garage and outside of town. I wanted to film a short little bit here about what the car is like to drive over rough roads. We're in downtown Flint, Michigan here. And the main road down here is all made of brick. Saginaw Street. One of Flint's landmarks, you could say. The car takes large bumps really well. Yeah, you saw a good shake of the camera, but that's more my arm than anything else. And any noise you're hearing is coming from the sunglasses in the roof cubby and from the baby seat in the back. Now we're going to transition onto smooth roads, and you'll notice a difference in the noise. But I mean, honestly, when we decided to get this car, well, we needed something a bit more reliable and a little less sunroof leaky. The vehicle we had before, the sunroof leaked so badly that it was causing mold in the carpet, and that was not safe for our newborn child. So we got rid of that car, we picked this up, and we really love it. It's great on long trips. Like I say, not very big. It's a compact, but it does everything we need. On the highway on long trips, it averages basically 27, 28 to the gallon, which is really impressive. Chrysler's been doing a good job. I should say FCA's been doing a great job recently with their fuel economy out of this V6 engine. Whether it's the 3.2 in the Cherokees like this, or the 3.6 you find in many of their cars, SUVs, and their minivan. Waiting to decide what he's doing. He's taking his sweet time, so I'm going to go. This car also has adjustable drive modes. You can see it on here: auto, snow, sport, and sand, mud. And there's a rotary dial right above it. You can't see worth a crap right now, but I will shift it over to sport. Now we are in sport mode. So when the light turns green, I'll give the car a little extra. Hold on to your hats. Snaps off the shifts really quickly. Really enjoyable, actually. The engine sounds great. It shifts at about 6,500 RPM. It's a lot of fun for what it is. The windshield is absolutely huge. Real pain to clean, but great to see out of. The visibility out of the car is really quite good. So here we are cruising along 70 miles an hour. To switch back to auto mode. The car will go into higher gear. Now we're cruising at 70, and I mean, I don't know how much you can hear over the camera, but the wind noise is super minimal. Really, I'm hearing the original tires more than anything else. 72,000 miles and original tires that have at least 60,000 on them. Last winter we had winter tires on the car, but it had the original tires on for the 4 years before that, so 4 or 5 years before that. We actually bought this car in January this year. So other than that, yeah, I'm gonna make one more stop before I reach home and get a flyby so you can hear the car accelerating and hear the intake and exhaust noise as it's moving on by. It won't be anything too exciting, but I still like to do it for continuity. I do it with many other vehicles on my channel, whether or not they're connected to a whole video review like this is one thing or another, but I like to do it anyway. Only other thing I want to note is that this car, I don't know if it's because it's a 2015 versus, like, you know, a 2018 or newer vehicle, but even with the upper mid-level trim that this is, being a limited, it doesn't have lane keep assist, or, like I said, it didn't have a park assist or a rear cross traffic alert or any other cameras besides the rear. And it does not have automatic braking or adaptive cruise control. I know they were options. Some of those things were options. It doesn't even have side blind zone alert. Some of those are options on either up-level Cherokees or definitely on the Grand Cherokee, which I know uses the same steering wheel as this car, but not on this one. And it's okay. It's certainly not a no-frills machine. The sound system is pretty impressive for not having a subwoofer, and I think being the standard system. It's a non-navigation system car, but yeah, it has, you could connect your iPhone directly to it via USB. You have an SD card slot, you have an auxiliary line out for whatever else you want to hook up. Sound quality transmission is great through whatever media you put into it. Bluetooth is great. Hands-free phone operation is pretty great. There's microphones all in the ceiling. No issues with connectivity in the time we've had the car. That's really all there is to note. Like I say, I'm going to make one more stop, so I will jump back in after that section of the video. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my first full video review of a car. Figured I'd practice on one of my own family's cars. That way I know enough about it to be able to cover all the background and all the features and whatnot, and really give you guys something to sink your teeth into. I hope you guys enjoyed it. The camera work's going to get better, I promise, and so will the content. I mean, I need you guys to like and subscribe to my channel, because I want to know that you guys support what I'm doing, and I want to hear your comments on how I'm doing, and yeah, I want to learn. I'm learning more and more techniques every day, and it's only going to go up from here. I've got a couple of reviews planned for the next week, and those should be some pretty interesting cars. So I was trying to learn some stuff tonight in order to be able to cover those better. All right, see you guys next time.